Welcome back, everybody. This is Grace, and today I hope you guys enjoyed that Mage montage, but today I'm going to be looking at the Mage Ropes armor a day or two before the release comes out, and basically just thinking about, what did this armor used to do, what does it do now, and have this as a record for how it'll be versus when the armor actually comes out and is changed. So there's only one version of Mage Ropes. It's got 10 abilities. It looks like this. Absolutely beautiful armor, to be honest, in my opinion. I really hope they keep a retro version. I might ask on the forums. I hate to ask needless things on the forums, but I just love the look of this thing, man. Anyways, so what it looks like. These are its defenses. 5 defenses to 4 elements, 25, 25, 30 MRM. Nothing too crazy. But the main... I'm just going to go through the abilities one by one. The main thing is the Elemental Sphere. This is the biggest one. It gives you all of these are one-hit spells, and they scale not only off your stats, but also off your class level. So at level 1 they cost less mana and deal less damage. Level 10 they cost more mana, deal more damage. Pretty simple. Do I think there will be an Omni Elemental Compression spell in the Mage Robes when it gets revamped? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm actually going to say, yes, I think there will. I actually don't know what people think, but Omni Elemental usually is a 60% or a 40% off penalty, so if you had a spell doing full damage, it would instead do 60% damage. I think they'll make it work. It's just the Elemental Wheel is just iconic. I used to farm Grandmother's Art with this. I'd be surprised if there wasn't some iteration of it kept in the armor. I think they'd really be missing out on an opportunity if they just gave it an element locked spell to the element of the armor and called it a day. I think that would be a missed opportunity. So I hope we see an iteration of this, maybe even using the same animation. Maybe we get an 8 element one for the level 5 scale. I don't know. Who knows? That'd be pretty odd, to be honest, but maybe. Next up is the armor bonus. So greater defense. Nothing too interesting here, and I'll talk about these more, but there are a lot of these like greater defense stuff that I'll talk about this at the end. So next we have Summon Familiar. This guy, as you can see, will attack and heal my MP. Let's watch it again. Bonk. Let's just watch it again. So he does a little bit of damage and he heals my MP a little bit. If we open up the battle log, you can see it's pretty much just a heal. I don't know the numbers on this. I'm not too interested. But oh, interesting. Does it heal based off my missing mana? Let's see. I'll use a spell. Because the heal is slowly decreasing. Or is it just random? I think it's just random. Whatever. Either way, not that important. It heals a tiny amount of mana. I mean, more if you're low level, but it's a dark guest that heals mana. Now, that being said, I do think, again, will we see a guest on the mage armor? I'm going to say I think we will. Familiars are cool. Familiars are fun. I just have a feeling that this ability like this is going to stay. The Evil Eye is like an iconic monster. It's been around for ages. Do I think it's going to be exactly the same? Maybe not. But would it be hard for them to make a clone of, say, Manabat and throw it in the armor of a different element? I don't think it would be hard at all, and I think it would be nice to have that as a free-to-play accessible guest. I think a lot of Mage players would enjoy that. Not Mage the class, Mage the archetype. Int builds. I think a lot of int builds would enjoy that. If it made it onto the Master Armor, that might be a little odd because, you know, it's a wizard, a magical class, and it has a Beastmaster ability as one of its main focuses. And honestly, I wish it kept the Familiar. I don't think it's actually going to keep the Familiar. I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I hope it keeps a guest summon, because it seems like we're going to lose it on fighter. Well, we lost it on fighter, and we may lose it on rogue. So I'd be bummed to lose it on mage too. If you want to have a rare character, an unattainable character, you can summon this guest before the update and then just never log out. You'll have an unobtainable guest. I'm kidding, don't do that, but you could. But anyways, interesting little ability. I'd be bummed to see it go away permanently on the in the future on the revamp, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. Next we have Spirit Feeder. So take a stance that allows you to absorb magical energy from your spells, making them less potent, but regaining some of the SP here. So you see I went down to 990 and then I went back up to 11,145. So to give you the specific numbers on that, so basically this toggle makes your spell do 25% damage less multiplicatively, and it refunds 25% of the mana. So pretty simple, pretty basic idea, nothing too crazy there. We've got Empower Spell. So increase your spell's damage by 20% or 40% extra MP. This actually changes also the base damage and the stat damage. So it is also multiplicative, unlike a lot of modern boosters, which are all additive. So it can have good interactions. I suspect we will see one of these two toggles on the new Mage ropes, or maybe both in one, I don't know. But a way to increase or decrease spell damage and refund or spend more MP that way. Just seems like a pretty basic spellcaster ability, so I'd be super unsurprised to see it remain in some form. That being said, I think it's going to be additive this time, not multiplicative, which won't really change much. Maybe it will. I mean, efficient spells and all that, so maybe it will change stuff, but we'll see. Then again, we get an armor bonus, pretty much a nothing change. This will not be on the final result, and again, I'll talk about armor bonus when I get to the end. But next up we have Focus Spell. So this increases the accuracy of your spells, and this is pretty interesting. This gives you up to 10 spell BTH at mage level 10. We don't have any other spell accuracy boosters except, I believe, the Fujin weapon, the Divine Athame. It'd be cool to see Mage have that niche as the only armor that actively boosts spell accuracy. There may be another I'm missing, but I think it's the only one. It would be cool to see this in the future. I don't know if we will, but it'd be cool to see it remain on the armor. Definitely an interesting, and they'd have to value it differently. You wouldn't pay that much MP for 10 BTH. Well, I don't think you would, at least, but it depends on what they do with it. But I think that we've got 3 toggles to modify spell damage, and you'll actually see we have up to 5 when we get there. But now we're going to move on to Stable Spell. So Stable Spell and Wild Spell, I'll go over them at the same time. These two are honestly the actually interesting ones. So next spell does 200% base damage, 0% random damage. So it basically removes all the random damage from the spell and doubles the base damage. Wild Spell does the opposite. Removes all the base damage, doubles the random damage. That is how I was able to achieve those high numbers with Cyclone. And mana regeneration, excuse me. Cyclone has all random damage, mana regeneration has all base damage. So you can get really high numbers with those, even compared to something like Necromancer, which is the apex of spellcasting, at least at the moment. So with that being said, these two toggles are pretty janky. They also cost a ton of MP, so they're not actually practical. And I don't think they'll remain on the Mage ropes in the same way as they are now. I think, first of all, I do think they're cool. I think being able to manipulate base and random damage would be sick. I think that the way these have it is open for abuse, because this one just doubles full base spell damage, and this one doubles full random spell damage. I think a better way to do it, to have it be balanced, was to be, you can imbue your spells to be more random or more basic, and then you don't actually multiply the numbers, but you take the base and then add it to the random, or you take the random and then add it to the base. You'd have to adjust the formula slightly because the random is higher because it's random. But anyways, you could do something like that where you adjust the spell to be very standard damage or very random damage without actually changing the damage like this does, which this does change the damage. So adjusting that in a different way. And then finally, the level 9 ability is a simple intellect boost. It's also quick cast, which I believe was new at the time. Let's see, was Summon Familiar, Quick Cast? No, it wasn't, so I think that was somewhat new. Maybe not the newest, but anyway, so that is what Mage Ropes does now. It also, I believe it gives you a flat accuracy bonus on spells. Yeah, so it gives you 5 spell accuracy base and -5 player accuracy base, like attack accuracy. So that's interesting too. I think it could keep something like that as a passive. Probably, I mean it could, who knows. I'm not going to hypothesize too much. But the main takeaways are 2 of these abilities are armor bonuses, which are super outdated because now armor is to scale with class level. So I don't need those armor bonuses built in. And then 5 of these abilities are spell modifiers. We've got efficiency, more damage, accuracy, full base damage, full random damage. So half of the mage class is spell modifiers. Realistically, you could have that all in 1 toggle or all in 2 toggles. So we could totally keep all of these, well, I say we. It would theoretically be possible for the staff to keep all 5 of these abilities and compress them down to 2, and even all 5 of them could stay on the master armor. Who knows? Will they do that? I think probably not. I think Stable Spell and Wild Spell, as much as I like them and I would advocate for keeping them, they do kind of cause a couple problems, and they're so niche and random. I suspect they won't remain. Summon Familiar, again, there's a lot of Beastmaster hate. No, I shouldn't say that. What I mean is, there's a lot of anti-Beastmaster sentiment in the community, which is totally fine, but I think that there would be a lot of people with negative opinions if the Wizard Tier 1 class had a Beastmaster ability, particularly if that Beastmaster ability scaled to max level. That being said, I think it totally should. Screw that, but I don't think it will, realistically, even though I want it, and I think having a MP gain familiar would be awesome. And I think Elemental Sphere, I really do think Elemental Sphere will remain on the armor. Will it be Dog Water? Will it be 60% spell damage for full cost? Who knows? I don't know. But I really do think it will remain. So that being said, we've got 5 abilities to work with. If you look at Master Archer and you look at Fighter, well, I mean, I'll go over it now, actually. So for the Archer class, we've got 5 abilities, as of course all the tier 1s will have. The first one is Weapon Compression. You can make anything in your inventory a bow of that element. The second one gives you status bonus and damage for a charge up turn, and accuracy too. Pretty interesting, a multi-step skill, so you can see they're not like super held down to simple ideas on these tier 1 class armors. The second one is a choke toggle. I mean, that's a status, that's a strong status, a meta status even. The third is a weakening shots, so that is like the Necromancer passive, which makes you take a little less damage against status inflicted foes. That is a total passive, no player interaction aside from inflicting the statuses, so I suspect we will see at least one like that on the mage armor. And then the fourth ability is the special arrows, which also inflict massive status, bleed, or poison. And then the fifth one is a celerity or it's like a weapon-based skill for 100 procs. So 3 of these involve status infliction. 1 of them involves charge up, 1 of them is a passive you can't interact with, and 1 of them is a nuke type skill, or nuke-ish high damage skill. None of them are element locked. If we go over to Fighter, so Fighter gives you a slight BTH bonus just for being the class with the melee weapon. It has a weapon-based skill which follows weapon element, and this paralyzes your foe, which is pretty interesting. So it's another status skill. The second one is an Elevuln skill, or the third one is an Elevuln skill. The fourth one is a passive, which is just plus 5% damage. So again, we have a full passive on the armor that you can't interact with actively. Another is a healing skill, and the last one is a boss damage weapon-based skill. None of them are following weapon element or locked armor element, and that goes for both the master armor and the normal armor. So, pattern recognition here. Mage will have at least 1 uninteractive toggle, probably. Mage will probably not have any element locked spells or skills, probably. So something like Elemental Sphere following your weapon element, totally could happen. In theory, at least. Something that modifies your spellcasting or modifies your attacks, something like efficiency or more damage, that could probably fit in. It's pretty similar to the archer's like read foe ability. Definitely gonna have a status spell of some kind. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, they just add random statuses on archer and fighter. Like, yes, paralyze. I mean, because they're just okay. So let me explain. It's cool that they're adding statuses. The fact that half of them are only usable at such a low level, kind of a downer for me. Like, it's not really choke support if it has a level 30 save roll. And you have to be level 30 and level 30 armor to use it. Same with the fighter's paralyzed skill. Like, I love accessible stuns, but it's capped at level 30. So it's pretty much useful mid-game and on. Useless, excuse me, mid-game and on. So with that being said, for mages, what I'm expecting, some kind of multi-elemental spellcast that you can choose from. Probably based off health weapon, maybe not, I don't know. Some kind of passive boost to either spell damage, spell accuracy, or MP refunding. Some type of spell damage accuracy modifier. Probably a toggle, more damage, more cost, less cost, something like that. Probably a MP regeneration source of some kind. I suspect it will not be a guest, although I'd love it to be a guest. I suspect it'll probably be a spend your turn to regenerate this kind of mana, or add HP to your spellcast, add SP to your spellcast, and restore mana as you cast spells. And then one status spell of some kind, at least. That's my guess for the Mage revamp. I'm curious what you guys think. This video will be really outdated soon. I could have gotten everything wrong. That would be totally okay. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the little montage I did at the beginning. I also just wanted to document everything Mage has in detail so that we have a video of it if anyone ever wants to go back and look. With that being said though, I'll give you guys a quick teaser on what I plan to do on the release day. Okay, so this is an account I trained up today. Level 21, and it doesn't have the Mage class, so I will be able to go from 1 to 5 on a low level account and see how it is. I also went for the Amani outfit. Amani is the first fighter in the Wizard games. They actually changed her face at some point, so you can't match her outfit 100%, or maybe you can, but I couldn't figure out how. But yeah, so I'm excited for the Mage release tomorrow, or who knows if it'll be late, but I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll be very interested to see what happens, and I hope you have a great day. Spread some peace and love. Bye-bye.